Hi everyone, I'm Mr. Sarneckis, and if your child takes U.S. history or world history with me, you're in the right spot. I wanna start by saying thank you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this and get to know a little bit about our class and how things are going to work here this year. I know everyone's got a busy schedule, so just you taking the time does mean a lot, and I do appreciate it. A little bit about me. Going into my third year teaching here at Mid Lakes. I'm really excited for this new year, even with some of the challenges that may present themselves. But the past few years have brought amazing experiences and opportunities, so I'm excited to see what's next. A little bit about the classes that I teach here: U.S. history and world history. These are going to be two Regents level courses. So what that means is they're both going to be geared at making sure the students are well prepared to take on the New York State Regents exam that is going to be at the end of the year in June. Uh, Along with that New York State Regents exam, the other main test will be the midterm exam. That's going to come at the end of the second quarter. All right, and that midterm will be modeled after the New York State Regents exam, so the students have an idea of what it looks like, of what that experience will be once they get to June. With that being said, I want to talk a little bit about expectations. I think in order to have a successful learning environment, we need to have clear expectations between me and the students. They need to know what they can expect out of me as a teacher, as well as what they can expect out of the class, which is to get them prepared for that New York State Regents exam. But they should also know what's expected out of them, right? And I think that will help them be successful. So let me talk a little bit about expectations. But this year being what it is and starting out remotely, I don't think all class rules should be going out the window. Still expecting to have obviously classroom behavior as if they would if we were in person and in school. But so some of my expectations for Zoom class are gonna, I'm still requiring them to be on time and be present and for the camera to be on if possible. I know sometimes there can be technical difficulties and I understand that, but if all is going as planned, they should be there present with the camera on. That's where their attendance as well as their participation is going to be coming from, is with that camera being on and interacting and collaborating with me and their classmates. Okay. Grading expectations is kind of what they can expect out of me. All their grades can be found on School Tool. I'm going to be trying to do my best at keeping that as updated as I possibly can. Um, Most assignments will be graded within a week. No assignment will I be taking longer than a week to grade. Um, Most classwork and homework assignments will be on there within a day or two. But I always tell them that this is a way to kind of for themselves to stay on top of their own progress in this class, is they can always check there and see that they have everything they need turned in, or in case that they did miss something, they can refer back to that and see what it is, and we can get it straightened out and get it handed in. As far as materials, it's a small list. There's not much that's needed right now. I'm not issuing out any books. All they really need right now is their iPads. Um, or I understand some students may be using their own devices that they're more comfortable with. That's fine too. But everything they need for our class will be found on Schoology. All the materials will be on there. The only other thing that they might need is a notebook when we're on Zoom and I'm doing a quick little lesson or lecture. It is in their best interest to write stuff down in their notebook so that they have it for later reference in case there's a quiz or a test on that said topic. All right, and this is probably the biggest one for me this year. I think communication is going to be huge. I think it's going to go a long way for our students and this whole thing to work and for it to be a success. And so the best way to reach me is either the email or Schoology message. It doesn't matter which one. I check both regularly. And during the week, I tell them I'm going to try to get back to them within 24 hours. But during the week, I won't be taking more than 24 hours to respond to them. And I'm going to try to be as flexible as I possibly can. Understand that, again, tech issues can occur and other problems may happen, especially during this time. But so it shouldn't matter that, or at least for me, it doesn't matter if we're past school hours. They they should feel free to reach out to me, and I'll try to get back to them if I can, and I'll definitely be getting back to them within 24 hours. Also, to talk a little bit more about grading, so some people might be wondering is, all right, where's my son or daughter's grade going to be coming from in this class? And this is it. I don't ever want that to be a mystery for anyone, but 40% of their grade is going to be coming from homework, classwork, and the human factor. What the human factor is that everything we just talked about with expectations. Are they on time? Are they present? Are they participating? That's the human factor. So if they're doing all those things that they're supposed to be doing, they got nothing to worry about there. And then assessments is going to be the other 60%. All right, and here you see my kind of policy on assignments that are going to be handed in late. I won't read all this. I'm sure you can if you want to pause it and read over it, but that is my policy on stuff that's being handed in late. The latest I will accept something if we're working on Unit 1 like we are right now. The latest I will accept assignments from Unit 1 is the day of the Unit 1 test. So if once we're already midway through Unit 2, but we're still in Quarter 1, and they're trying to get their Quarter 1 grade up, and they want to hand in something from Unit 1, I'm going to say it's probably been too long, and it should have already been handed in. Okay. So also a little more on grading, of what some of the grading components will look like. Um, Assessments being such a big part of the grade, not all of them are going to be tests or quizzes. I understand people aren't always best test takers, and I try to play to that a little bit. Um, I'm going to try to work in a lot of projects throughout the year. I think it's important for students to be able to show kind of what they've learned and show their knowledge in different ways, not just tests. So there'll be a number of projects throughout the year. Another thing that will be counted as an assessment will be some of the writing assignments that we do, some of the writing practices. Um, the reason for that being is a big portion of the Regents exam is short response uh, documents or short response to documents or essays. So we got to make sure we're well prepared for that. So we'll be doing some essay practices, a lot of short response practices, but then also reflective pieces. And what I mean by that might be more or less formal writing, more informal writing, where students just get to practice writing kind of what's on their mind and to be able to express their knowledge in an easier way. All right, some of the other things you see here, I won't get into it, but they're all things to kind of model those Regents exams with the multiple choice and other variations of short questions. One of the last things I want to touch on is absences and makeup work. I understand some absences, you can't do anything about it. And again, I'll echo this, that the best way to make sure that we're successful throughout this year, that we're staying on top of stuff, is to just make sure you communicate. If you're absent or you know you're going to be absent, just make sure your son or daughter touches base with me and lets me know. I always appreciate that, and it helps me get the work to them or help them explain what they're missing. That way they don't fall behind and they're able to stay up to date. Um, they're not going to be penalized for anything that might be late because of them being sick or anything like that. If something pops up, again, I try to be understanding, so um, they're not going to have points taken off, or it's not going to be half credit right away. They're going to have the extra few days that they were absent to get caught up and get their work handed in. Okay. And so the last thing, as I keep mentioning communication, I just want to point out some of the best ways to contact me. I already mentioned Schoology messages, but then here's also my email. I just want to make sure this is available to everyone. It's just R and then my last name at midlakes.org. I'm going to, again, like I said, I'm going to be trying to be as flexible as I possibly can. I'm going to try to respond to everyone within 24 hours during the school week. So just make sure you know and your son or daughter know that they should feel free to reach out to me whenever. It doesn't matter to me that if it's after school hours, if I'm up and I'm near a device, I'll try my best to respond to them and help them out in any way that they might need. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know if there's any questions. Again, I'll be checking my messages and my Schoology messages and my emails. And I'm looking forward to hopefully the day that we can meet face to face and maybe do an in person open house. Thank you for watching and have a good rest of your day. Bye.